Welcome to Learning Lovecraft with Ken James and Jason McKittrick, brought to you by Cryptocurium.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Learning Lovecraft. I'm your host Jason McKittrick, and joining me as always, the traveler of the Eldritch Path, Mr. Ken James.
Good evening, folks.
And tonight, as always, we are delving into the mysterious and otherworldly realm of H.P. Lovecraft's cosmic horror. Our focus tonight, the strange high house in the mist.
Yeah, and like I like to do in these episodes, the name is kind of off-putting just because it's like
Nobody's getting high up there.
Yeah, just phonetically, it didn't really work for me. I'm just like the strange, I'm like,
yeah.
Then it's better than the last one. I'm not gonna say this is one of my favorites, but I mean, it's got its gumption here.
Yeah.
It's got its highs and lows. I mean, I'm a fan of maritime funsies and mystical romps. So this one I was like, all right, I'll take it. And like Poseidon shows up, I'm like, all right.
Hey man, Poseidon, they call him Neptune. Some other dudes, but
some other sea guys.
Yeah, sea guys. A bunch of guys you could find over on Sea Captains.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
If you know about Sea Captains,
over at St. Pete Beach.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Now we're talking.
I mean, we are. But yeah, this is an important one because this is kind of like the on-ramp, a Lovecraftian on-ramp, because we're about to do Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. And this kind of sets the tone for us. And I know that stories like this stick in Ken's craw, but I think he's going to have a different opinion after we finish Dream Quest, because this kind of gets us there, and this starts the thing where Lovecraft is starting to mythologize his own towns, the towns that he created. He's kind of trying to be like, hey, Kingsport, it's awesome. Arkham, it's witch haunted. Yeah. Like he's making the thing happen, and he's kind of ramping up because this was written, we'll talk about it later, but this was written at the same time as Dream Quest. So he was kind of, maybe he was getting ideas out, maybe he was trying to figure some things out. But this is kind of this is that other lane of Lovecraft that Ken, you've got to know at this point that we've got the creepy monster guy, but then we have there's cities in the clouds and ships that fly in the air.
I guess you'd call it like the romantic side of him.
Kind of. I mean, it's the escapism too. I think it's like he these dream cities are like, he's like, you know what? I hate my life, but I need to go sit in an easy chair and just dream that I'm in a spiced city on the glittering sands with whatever.
Yeah, with like a martini or something, whatever he was, non-alcoholic martini.
Warm milk for Howard, I think. I don't know.
Boiled
coffee.
chicken.
He loves coffee.
Coffee and boiled chicken, I guess.
Ooh. He loves spaghetti and meatballs, though.
Oh, good on him. All right, I'll give him that. I'll give him some
extra Parmesan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good stuff.
I'm a fan. I'm a spaghetti and meatball guy.
Who isn't, man? It's comfort food, and Howard knew it. He was like, "Wait, this looks like tentacles. I could eat this."
Yeah.
So this has been called hauntingly beautiful, and I see where someone could get that, because there are folks that definitely like have different like lanes of Lovecraft that they prefer. I'm the monster guy. I'm the cosmic. I enjoy all his really like deep, weird tentacles and sanity shattering stuff. This stuff has its place, and over the years of reading them, I've definitely come to appreciate it more. But it is a hard pill for some people to swallow, and because it's so different from his other stuff. Now, some people would disagree with me because later on it starts to meld, and you'll see, and we'll talk about this as an ongoing thing. But you have to get through these stories to to fully appreciate everything that it is. But before we dive in, I just want to give a little backstory on the story itself. It was written in 1926, but not published until 1931 in Weird Tales, as he was wont to do. Like I said, not driven by monsters or madness, but by atmosphere, imagery, and what did I say? Transcendence. I would say that's kind of like what happens at the end, really. Yeah. This is one of his more dreamlike works, as we know. And it's kind of like, if you think about it, it's more of like a prose poem about Kingsport. And he's really, romantic, like you said.
Yeah.
About this house perched at the rim of the world.
No, I mean, I get the transcendence part of like, especially where the story goes, and like like I was saying, this isn't the most like dreamlandy of dreamlandy stories, because it's
Right.
you know, you get there's a little apparently soul shattering stuff in this, and there's the difference is like the guy who would be like the magic user in this one, or the guy that would be like the spooky, you know, mystery character, is kind of like almost like seems like I don't know, like a foofy, like robe wearing, like I don't know, like shh, just be quiet, stay here, you know, we got friends coming over.
We don't know much about him. He's and there's speculation on who that guy could possibly be. But it's got dream logic, right? It's got dream kind of just atmosphere as well. It's like he has his elements that get put in there, and the rest of it really just, aside from building the lore of these towns, really just exists to kind of create this atmosphere of like dreamlike awe, I would say, you know?
Sure.
So.
I guess it was kind of like, the way I understood the way it was kind of written was almost like happy undescribable, as opposed to like mind shattering and indescribable, like it was just breathtaking, as opposed to it was sanity taking.
Right. It's like the other side of the coin. You know, it's like both kind of do shatter your mind, but in different ways, kind of.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and I think that's kind of like maybe at the core of what kind of this is. You know, we have Howard Sweet and Howard Salty, and you know.
Right. And not to sound, I didn't want to sound repetitive there, but that's just what I was getting from it.
No, totally.
It's better than Sad Sack Howard that we got last time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, everyone has their down days, and you know, there's nowhere to go but up when you're at rock bottom, I guess.
Right.
So a bit on Kingsport, a little bit, because I mean, he's really building it up here. You know, I mean, we've been here before, right? Kingsport is Lovecraft's great New England seaport. We first ran into this town back when we read The Festival, if you remember.
Yes.
It was written back in 1923, and it's even kind of it's alluded to in the story. He talks about the weird stories about the underground tunnels, or you know, like catacombs, or whatever he calls.
Eating doors and stuff like that.
Yeah. So he definitely he's calling it out, and he's definitely like, okay, I wanna enshrine this town as my thing. It really does come across that.
Yeah.
And unlike
this time around, though, it seems like it's a much more friendly visit to Kingsport, not as, you know, dreary and doom and gloom, you know.
Yeah, I think he's starting that, like, I think his Kingsport is kind of be like that shining city on the hill, whereas Arkham is the witch haunted. It's supposed to be, you know, it's essentially Salem, and
it's the difference of Metropolis and Gotham.
Right, and they're not next to each other. I don't care what Zack Snyder says.
Right.
So unlike Arkham, which he modeled on Salem, like I was saying, and we'll get to it, Innsmouth, we're getting there, inspired by Newburyport and Gloucester, Kingsport is based most directly on Marblehead. And we've talked about this before. This is a town right next to real Salem. It's actually, if you've ever seen, obviously, Hocus Pocus, the scene in the graveyard, that is the same graveyard that he mentions in the festival. That's literally Marblehead. So when Lovecraft visited Marblehead in December of 1922, he was completely overwhelmed. He described it as a walking into the 18th century. Crooked lanes, gambrel roofs, mossy graveyards, and houses leaning against each other, another on a narrow, winding street. And he said it was the most powerful single emotional climax of his life.
Okay. All right. Turkey's done, I guess.
Yeah, man. Hey, Howard gets off on architecture, and we know this.
Yeah.
There was a sense of frozen time, and this is what he was trying to capture in this essence of Kingsport. So, you know, this is more of his lofty stuff, you know. So Lovecraft kind of presents it as a town where the colonial past never truly vanished, and where the architecture itself seems to hold the weight of all these like forgotten centuries.
Right.
So in the festival, Kingsport is a place of like sinister tradition. But in Strange High House in the Mist, it becomes something like, it's like a threshold town, like where everything kind of like meets together, and you're kind of, it's almost, I don't want to say a time slip, but like it's like that in between area where like you come to this town and it kind of transports you somewhere else because that's, you know, where when we get to the house, we sort of, it's like that other area, almost like but different to where in Eric Zahn, where he talks about that, you know, that street where he kind of sees it from the distance, and then when he finally gets to it, it's like it's that other place that you kind of can see from a distance, but when you finally get there, you're almost like out of time or out of place.
Yeah, the
Right.
description of like the buildings leaning into each other and everything gave me that same kind of feeling, same
Right.
kind of vibe.
Right. So that's very much what we're doing here. So when we get to getting to the story here, we should keep in mind that Kingsport is both real and unreal at the same time.
Right.
So as we open up, Lovecraft starts with this passage.
In the morning mist comes up from the sea by the cliffs beyond Kingsport. White and feathery it comes from the deep to its brothers the clouds, full of dreams of dank pastures and caves of Leviathan. And later, in still summer rains on the steep roofs of poets, the clouds scatter bits of those dreams, that men shall not live without rumor of old, strange secrets, and wonders that planets tell planets alone in the night. When tales fly thick in the grottos of tritons, and conches in seaweed cities blow wild tunes learned from the elder ones, then great eager mists flock to heaven laden with lore, and oceanward eyes on the rocks see only a mystic whiteness, as if the cliff's rim were the rim of all earth, and the solemn bells of buoys tolled free in the ether of fairy.
Yay!
Ken's favorite. So this is not realism, right? This is not what we see in some of his, this is not Pickman's model, right? This is the exact opposite. This is a cosmology, right? The mists are kind of like alive. They have like, they almost like they whisper from the sea, right? And they talk about how they ascend to the clouds carrying secrets from the deep. He's very, he's very, this is, we're back to Pierre Mude's material again.
Yes.
And he starts talking about tritons and elder ones, and this is where he kind of does this thing that he's going to do going forward, where he starts blending Greek sea myth with his own, starting to build his own cosmic pantheon, right?
Right.
And we harken back a little bit here once again, where it's like he does this horror author thing that he does amazingly, but every once in a while he has to come back to this like mystic poet territory.
Yeah.
So it's, we're seeing the two sides of Howard, and it's, I don't know, I find it interesting that he could have these such two different, styles within him.
Yeah.
So we're introduced that north of Kingsport stands this cliff, right? And to the locals, it's not merely just like this rock, but it's kind of like this thing of awe, but also fear, right?
Yeah.
They talk about the sailors, they cross themselves when they see it, and they talk about the Yankees, which I don't know why a baseball team is there.
Yeah.
They whispered that to climb it would be worse than death. And they even talk about that, like, locals won't even look at it with their binoculars. They're like, nope, not looking. Mm-hmm. So there's some kind of like awe and dread about this place, right off the bat. And yet on this cliff is this house. And they talk about how like lights come on at night, so they know somebody lives up there. And the guy who lives there, or the inhabitant, they don't even give him like a even a name, that he speaks with the mists themselves. The whole soundtrack to this should just be pure.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. I just, like.
I know, buddy. I know. But the house is, it's a symbol, right? This is the place where the mortal world touches the eternal. This is like the threshold. We can see where it is. Like maybe this is the height of where men could reach.
Sure.
And then we get we get some callbacks, right? Lovecraft ties the story in with his, kind of this wider Kingsport lore. And he tells us about another denizen of the town.
Even the terrible old man who talks to leaden pendulums in bottles, buys groceries with centuried Spanish gold, and keeps stone idols in the yard of his antediluvian cottage in Water Street, can only say these things were the same when his grandfather was a boy, and that must have been inconceivable ages ago, when Belcher or Shirley or Pownell or Bernard was governor of His Majesty's province of the Massachusetts Bay.
So that son of a bitch, the terrible old man, makes it back in.
The terrible old man's here, and apparently we find out he has a lineage of more terrible older men.
Yeah, terrible old men. It's that's a story he should have wrote.
Exactly.
The prequel.
Yeah, played by Walter Matthau. I was like, this is a weird place to put this character.
It is, but I think why he kind of put it in there is that's like, okay, here's a terrible old man, and in that story, They kind of give him like that pirate lore, and he was like this kind of like this survivor, but also like this mystic quality to him. And the fact that he is there and talks about his ancestors tells you just how old this house is. That if the terrible old man was really old, then this house that, he talks about his grandfather talking about it, it's, this thing
old.
is super old. It's almost eternal. So,
okay.
It's
he just wasn't trying to like crack open a new character. He was just like, no, who can I throw in here? Oh, terrible old man.
Yeah.
Z-Town. Yeah. Let me just drop him in here. Give him some some more lore.
Right. So after we get this section where we're introduced to our guy, our seeker of the truth here, Mr. Thomas Olney, and I'm glad when we get full names.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a philosopher, but he's weary of his quote well-disciplined thoughts. You gotta love his little quote here. I'll let Howard take it.
With stout wife and romping children he came, and his eyes were weary with seeing the same things for many years.
I get it.
No, so we're getting a little bit more of autobiographical Lovecraft, right? He's like, I don't think he had a stout wife or children, obviously.
Yeah.
But, it's that character that like, oh, God, I'm just weary of this world. It's all the same. Where's the floating ships and all the, the mists and the mystery and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I wrote a song like this years and years ago called The Curse, where it was just I just want to hear new words. I want to hear just being so bored of the, you hear a song, people are like, love from above the doves, you're like, oh, I'm so sad you're gone, that's like, and I was like,
sure.
I want something else. So I get that sentiment very much so, but like, many of these tales do, you go searching for the real or the darkness. Darkness or the real may come touch you. Know what I'm saying?
It's hey man, I totally and Mr. Only here finds out the same thing because he's this young character, right? He's not a decadent or one of these like reckless dreamers or weird artists or anything like that, but he's just this ordinary intellectual who feels kind of this weight of like everyday sameness.
Yeah.
So because of that, where these inhabitants of the town kind of fear the cliff, he's drawn to it because it's like this big unconquered mystery. He's like, what do you mean nobody goes up there? Well, then I'm going up there.
And they're like, please don't, Mr. Olney, please.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because he gives him a different name. Like this is very much like you would think this would be a Randolph Carter story. Yeah, because it's functionally the same guy.
Right, but he's like gone at this point, right? Like we don't,
It's dream timeline, so like
it's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right. This one's exactly. This one's Golden Age.
Yeah.
And this one's Silver Age. This one's Bronze Age. This one's Ultimates. I don't know.
Wait, which Earth are we on? In the
exactly. 616.
Yeah.
I don't know. So cut to he's going to climb this thing, and we get just a couple more paragraphs of description, and it's wonderful. We love you, Howard. It's beautiful stuff, and I know you used a feather quill to write it, but we're just gonna we're gonna pick apart the good parts.
Yeah.
And he describes in painstaking detail his ascent. He talks about this ponds that he passed. There's the powder house, and then he can see Arkham steeples in the distance, and that's really cool. Like that kind of stuff, where it's like you get to this height, it's like, oh, there's that town. It's like, oh, there's Arkham over there, and it kind of puts these places together. It's like, oh, okay.
Nice little map of like Middle Earth type deal.
Yeah, exactly. He climbs this part called the Blueberry Scrub and the Rocky Ridges. It's like, we got some Sam and Frodo action going over here. And then he talks about this deep chasm that he has to cross, and he talks about how like perilous it is, and like it's a kind of a pilgrimage, and it's obviously there's some metaphor here for him like climbing past these things and getting through and coming through the clouds, and it's it's that whole kind of a hero's journey, but in miniature, I guess.
Yeah.
So we get this next little passage.
Now the ridge narrowed, and Olney grew dizzy at his loneness in the sky. South of him, the frightful precipice above Kingsport. North of him, the vertical drop of nearly a mile to the river's mouth.
So we kind of get this unrealistic kind of like geography. It almost becomes cosmic because this drop is like, how did he get? It's like it's very like it's very precarious. Like he's up there, and it's he can kind of see this height, and there's this house, and then you start to like wonder, well, how nobody can get up this way? Well, what about the other way? And I think he even says like maybe people from Arkham came the other way, and they're able to get here, and they built this. It's like just the people from Kingsport, from their side, they just can't see it. So, but he kind of makes all these like, I don't know, trying to figure it out, but it literally is between Earth and heaven. So, but he gets to the top, at the summit, and he sees this house, and he finds that it's kind of constructed really weird. He talks about how the house's door, there's only one door, but it faces this cliff, and it's like kind of like flush with the cliff, and it faces this abyss. So from the land, it's 100% unreachable. So he's like, he already starts to like wonder. He's like, so anything that's coming in this door is flying into it or coming out of the sea, or it's definitely weird.
Is it Janos with Oscar?
Hey, with the baby carriage flying in, possibly. I mean, he may have just cracked it wide open. I don't know.
That's what I do.
Yes, it's Janos from Ghostbusters 2.
Yes.
There's your Ghostbusters reference for this episode. But he sees the guy he sees someone inside, and he sees them starting to open the windows, and then he hears the bolt slide, and all of a sudden he gets look at this guy. We'll let Howard just take it.
A great black bearded face whose eyes shone phosphorescently with the imprint of unheard of sights.
All right.
So we got a mystical character here, yeah?
Yeah. It's like Odysseus or something.
Something. It's something. We'll speculate at the end. And this bearded host welcomes him in, and he talks about this Tudor finished chamber and there's this dim green light. And he sits him down and just starts telling him about all this fun lore. It's like story time as soon as he gets there.
Yeah, he walks in. The guy's like, "Oh no shit, come on in, man!" Like it's like,
nobody ever comes up here. I don't know why.
Yeah, you want to hear some cool stuff?
Yeah, I mean, he starts talking about Atlantis at war with these ocean horrors. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's kind of like what's the temple?
I was just about to get that, because then he talks about the Temple of Poseidonus, which I don't know if that is, glimpsed by lost ships. And then the Titans and the other gods dancing at Hatheg Kla. And he talks about Kadath and the Cold Wastes, and obviously we're going to get to that. But that's exactly what I thought of, and I don't know if anyone ever points that out. I think he's talking about the temple and what we saw in the temple. He's talking about earlier stories for sure. And is that what happened to Atlantis? There were these horrors that came out of the ocean, these things that squeezed out of the cracks or whatever he says.
Probably.
And then the Temple of Poseidon is glimpsed by lost ships. That's got to be the temple.
Yeah, I immediately was like, okay, we're in the temple. We're in a U-boat, Yep. It's a lost ship.
Yep. But then on top of that, talking about the Hatheg Kla, and talking about about Kadath, this is where he links it right there. The house is not just in Kingsport; it's a doorway into like this mythic, like almost like continuum. You know what I mean? It's like this is the gate. This is the temple on top of Ivo Shandor's building. Right.
Number 2. Yeah. So, are we saying this is the only one, or this is one of the like doorways, or is this like in his dream logic? This is the only way in his mind.
Well, in this story, because Dream Quest, there's a lot. It's actually, this whole thing is actually kind of like covered, and it's different, and it's Randolph Carter, but in this story, this is just this house. I mean, I think he really is kind of playing around with like his set pieces. He's like, what am I going to do for this story? And he kind of does it in miniature, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about when we get to that story. But yeah, this is definitely this is the threshold right here. This guy is almost like the guardian of this gate, I guess.
Yeah. He's
with his
the guy at the Rainbow Bridge, another Marvel reference.
Yeah, exactly. He's here with his fun stories. I feel like he probably has like a fridge full of sodas. I don't know why.
Yeah. He's a Cherry Coke or what? What are we doing?
He's got like the discontinued flavors that they had for like one summer at a time. He's like, I still got Mountain Dew Pitch Black. We got Mountain Dew Pitch Black.
I still got some Crystal Pepsis. I don't know how good they are.
Yeah. He's like, oh no, they're eternal. This is eternal. They're fresh.
Yeah, they're great. They suck then and they suck now, but have at it.
Yeah, exactly. This is where all the experimental sodas go to die.
Yeah. He's like, we can mix them all together, make a suicide. He's like, you really want to get crazy?
Yeah.
We can get nuts in
You
here.
want to get nuts?
Yeah. Like you're at the roller rink.
Right. So then now we get there's an introduction of our next character here. I guess character is a way to call him, but it's a knock sounds at the abyssal door, that big door that's on the end of the end of the house. And the host is kind of afraid to answer it. They talk about him like tiptoeing up to the door, like listening and like,
don't.
It's like,
yeah,
this guy's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Once he comes in, you can't get rid of him. He's like Ryan.
Yeah, he's like linger.
Yeah, exactly. Linger. Yeah. So he has to throw on the rap music, and then like but then he kind of gives him this secret signal. It's weird how he wrote it too. I think that's what he's saying. He gives a secret signal, and then he's like, okay, and then he opens the door. And then we get this next passage.
And then to the sound of obscure harmonies there floated into that room from the deep all the dreams and memories of Earth's sunken mighty ones. And golden flames played about weedy locks, so that only was dazzled as he did them homage. Trident-bearing Neptune was there, and sportive tritons and fantastic nereids, and upon dolphins' backs was balanced a vast crenulate shell wherein rode the grey and awful form of primal Nodens, Lord of the Great Abyss.
Yeah, so like, you know, we got like sea gods, kind of like in the Clash of the Titans sense, like.
Yeah, and this is kind of weird because he mentions the Greek stuff, but Nodens is a Celtic sea god.
Yeah, I mean, this is where all
Lovecraft likes to do this.
Yeah, all the pantheons of old, you know, they're all here on the backs of dolphins, which is like, I was immediately like,
and I like his
lame.
You're like, God damn it, Howard. I know what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like, dolphins, come on, make this guy cool. I mean, it's kind of interesting. We get the gray and awful form of primal Nodens. It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I'm just like,
is he gray like it's a cloud? Does he have a human body, but he's gray skinned? He just
that's
doesn't
what
give
I was
us
going
any
with.
Right? Yeah, and like maybe like glowing
drippy,
eyes.
Yeah, like drippy and gross, and like one's like kind of more majestic, you know, and like the other, like, you know, it's like, all right, kind of cool.
Like he comes out of the abyss. Yeah, that's. I'll give him a little bit on that one.
Yeah, straight out of Davy Jones' locker, you know, Black Pearl style, or Flying Dutchman style. I'm sorry, like drippy, goopy, gross.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of dig it, and I think he just kind of like avoids it a little bit because he doesn't want to mess with the tone. But like, this is that thing that comes from the depths. This is what's the house is, I guess, there for, and you know, he's majestic, not malevolent, which is where you kind of think he'd be going, but he doesn't go in that route. And at this point, we have Olney and the bearded man are both kind of like called into Nodin's shell, and then kind of just taken off into the infinite. Right? I mean, we get this crazy descriptions of like more of this mists and stuff, but he just kind of disappears into almost like a sublime awe, you know, almost like a religious experience, something like that. I think that's what he's trying to kind of give us, where it's like sometimes these characters disappear into horror and madness, but these guys disappear into like this, you know, this bright, almost like heavenly mists kind of stuff. And they just kind of just transcend our realm.
This is your first abduction story. That's what this is.
Did Howard beat?
Yes, Howard beat Betty and Barney Hill to the punch. And that's what this is.
All right, so if you went back,
a shell,
okay,
saucer shaped,
right? It's a chariot of a god.
The dolphins may be aliens. We don't know.
We don't know. You know, it's actually funny. We come to that. Eric von Daniken, the guy who wrote Chariots of the Gods, was a huge Lovecraft fan.
Oh.
And when we get to more later stories, you're gonna be like, that son of a bitch took this right from At the Mountains of Madness.
Like, no, this is not H.P. Lovecraft, whatever it is.
No. They're like, why do you have his full collection of stories and all that shit over there? You even have a Cthulhu t-shirt. What the fuck?
Yeah, under your blazer, I can see it.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all right, I'm sorry.
No, this is all my theory. This is all,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay,
You and that dude from Mexico. They brought us the 3-finger, you know,
bro, they're real.
Papier-mâché aliens.
Bro, they're real.
All right, man.
No, they're not.
Whatever you and Rogan want to say.
Yeah, exactly. Your favorite podcaster says it's real.
Yeah.
So by dawn, Olney kind of returns, back from the realm of the gods or whatever, wherever he was, wherever he was beyond. And Howard even says that, quote, "The man who came down from that crag was not wholly the man who went up." And from then on, he lives quietly, doesn't have this longing anymore. His imagination is kind of like, tamped down. But not because it was destroyed or something happened to him, but he's kind of like been fulfilled. He went out and went on this adventure. And if this is dream logic and dream timelines, I mean, he could have come back the next day, but he could have been gone for decades.
Yeah.
And you'll see that in Dream Quest. Kingsport is also not the same. He even mentions that lights kind of gleam brighter in the house. Laughter and voices drift on the wind. Now young men are also feeling this pull to climb. But the elders kind of fear that if they go up, they're never going to return quite the same, just like Olney. So he's kind of recreating a new myth within the town by taking this adventure. So he's become this almost like this hero in the town, this mythical hero who takes the adventure. But it's kind of like this Lovecraftian myth that he's trying to kind of create.
Well, it's such a like allegory, or like it's such like a the guy who leaves town to become something and then returns home like, oh, he wrote that book and people love that book and he moved back to town. Like it's such a a tale of that, like, take that chance, take that risk, but also
a call to adventure.
Right.
Yeah, it's Sam and Frodo stuff.
Yeah, right.
But we come back around to it. He makes his point, and then Lovecraft gives us this closing passage.
And meanwhile, the morning mist still comes up by that lonely, vertiginous peak, with the steep, ancient house, that gray, low-eaved house where none is seen, but where evening brings furtive lights, while the north wind tells of strange revels. White and feathery it comes from the deep to its brothers the clouds, full of dreams of dank pastures and caves of Leviathan. And when tales fly thick in the grottos of tritons, and conches in seaweed cities blow wild tunes learned from the elder ones, then great eager vapors flock to heaven laden with lore, and Kingsport, nestling uneasy on its lesser cliffs below that awesome hanging sentinel of rock, sees oceanward only a mystic whiteness, as if the cliff's rim were the rim of all earth, and the solemn bells of the buoys tolled free in the ether of fairy.
Whatever that means, all's
it
well.
Means yes, everything.
You hear the
everything's
buoys,
great.
Boom, boom, and it's like, everything's good. It fades out like on a feather, like Forrest Gump. Like the music
totally.
Plays,
It's a return to innocence, baby.
Yeah, or the who can save us?
Right. Yeah, we've got Enya. We've got all of them. They're all here. I mean, maybe in the next story we can combine it all.
Nice.
But it's there. The mists remain eternal. The house is still there up on the hill, and Kingsport is there. It's this eternal kind of mythical house mythical town on the hill. So it's there it is.
Yeah, I mean, Kingsport sounds like a good time to me.
It does.
I would love to go on a life quenching, soul quest with which I can only imagine is George Clooney up in. No, I'm just kidding. But like,
interesting.
I mean, it's I understand, and I'm sure I'll understand that this is primer for what's coming next. But almost for me, this story is kind of like, why did we write this? You said I'll understand later. It's the on ramp, but it's like for me right now, I'm just sitting here like, okay, I guess this one was more for you, and that's cool.
I totally, and that's very valid. Could you imagine picking up an issue of Weird Tales and this is in there? I'd be like, what is this?
Yeah.
it's like I'm looking for monsters, like, because you got weird tales. There's like mummies eating people's faces. There's like vampire chicks. There's like monsters from the deep. And then here comes Howard Phillips Lovecraft with this strange high house in the mist. You're like, oh, great, monster in there. It's gonna be great. And it's like he's talking about mists and like perfume and like it's like, what is he doing?
We take a ride on a shell. People get in this shell and take a ride.
Yeah.
You know, it's like. Yeah, so at this point, that's just where the story.
Dolphins.
People riding dolphins. All right. If I pick up weird tales, I'm like, don't people eat those things?
Yeah. Well, in Japan, they kind of do.
Right. But I mean, if I was a man of the time, don't more people out there eating dolphins, son? We should maybe try a dolphin steak with our stew later. I don't know why I sound like
stew.
Kingsport stew. Add dolphin.
Because that's Kingsport man in the street, not Kingsport, trying to attain these lofty goals. You're just the guy in the fish market cutting the heads off the fish and
Exactly. I was the butcher at home. Like I heard about these dolphins.
Yep. And you can't stand the terrible old man because he comes and he tries to like undercut you. He's like, I only have $4. It's $6. I told you last week.
Yeah. And for some reason he smells worse than the fish, and you're like, you're ruining this. You're ruining my vibe, my atmosphere. Get out of here, you terrible old man! And you shake your fist at him.
Yeah.
You maybe beat him out of there with rolled up paper, a rolled up copy of Weird Tales.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta deal with this shit now, you.
Yep, and then you end up in one of his bottles.
Exactly.
And then just
full circle, baby. Yeah.
Full circle. It's great stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's just where I'm at, and
totally.
it's benign. Like the story's benign to me right now. It's just like
yes, and totally, and that's where you're at. But this gives you kind of like the headspace that we're going to be going to some places that exist in these weird realms, and I think that should get you there. Like a character is going to go to these lands that have all these strange inhabitants and these monsters and these creatures and these characters, and that it'll put you in the right headspace. Is basically what I'm saying. So
I understand that. It's the silver key.
Yeah.
The silver key to unlock my my happy imagination to travel back.
Yeah. Totally.
And forth, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell Howard was talking about that. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, totally. But I think it's, Strange High House in the Mist feels so different from his weird horror of the same period. Because you think about it, he just produced, and we talked about heavy oppressive stuff like The Call of Cthulhu, which was this, this heavy piece about this cosmic horror. But this, it's almost like he had to just kind of switch the gears a little bit, clean out the cobwebs and dream questing, myth weaving, and, like I said before, this cosmic awe kind of thing. But we're going to have some more stuff coming up. I was going to say some more, but I would rather we just discover it in Dream Quest, because that story has so much more meat on the bone. It's one of his first novellas. So, we're going to be on it for a little bit.
Right.
But it's great because there's all these little lands. There's more guys that we've heard. There's more returning characters. You're gonna have a good time.
Good. I've been thinking about you, the one guy that you're like, someone else returns.
Yeah.
And you won't, and I was like, no, let's keep it a secret. But I've been at work like, who's coming back?
There's so many guys it could be.
Azathoth?
We haven't really. He might be in there. Yeah. There's a lot of characters in there, but there's a returning guy that. All right. I don't want to say anymore because I don't want to. I want you to read.
If it's Arthur German, I'm gonna lose my mind.
All right, I'm gonna save you some disappointment. It's not Arthur German. I wish it was, buddy. I wish they found him there, but that was clearly stuck in. Yeah,
right. I understand. I'm praying I just want to hear in a story. It's like, and then you hear an ape, or the sounds of a chimpanzee, and all of a sudden a guy comes running, chasing it like a gorilla, like an ape, and they're like, what was that? And that's the only reference, It's just
honestly, I think at this point I should just have ChatGPT write you a sequel to Arthur German that includes you and gorilla boxing and all this sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
You find out that you're a long lost descendant of
I'm
Arthur
one of the
German.
Germans. Yeah.
Yep. From that day forward, Ken only walked on his knuckles.
I'm like, I'm like licking my finger to turn the pages, and I'm just like weeping at how beautiful it is.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh God,
forget that Dreamlands bullshit. I'm here with the gorilla.
Please. Oh, I love it.
If only.
Yeah.
So yeah, buddy. This is a short story, but it's a primer for Dream Quest. And we're getting there, man. I hope that this, you'll look back and be like, okay, I see why we had to read that. That was just this little thing here. And you're going to see that, oh, this is questing in dreams. And it's, it's something that Howard really enjoyed.
Yeah. I bet.
Did I mention the talking cats? Because there's talking cats.
Yes, you did mention.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
An army of talking cats.
Do any of them, are any of them perhaps waiting for Martin to come?
You know what? That actually kind of fits. Did I mention Randolph Carter can speak cat? This is how weird it gets.
I think, but I like where we're going, because we get there, you might have to do your voices for wait till Martin comes.
Look, man, Dream Quest calls for it. Dream Quest is fucking weird. The first time I read Dream Quest, before I really knew a lot about, like, I came to that story later, and I should probably save this for that episode.
Yeah. It got wild, is what you're saying.
It gets wild, because I want to have a primer episode before we even get to the full story. But as we're wont to do with these stories, there's only really two characters, to be honest. We should have some casting, no?
Right, and I want to say at the beginning, I know what Hollywood would do with this, right?
Okay.
They'd take this short story, they'd expand it, make it 3 hours, and every person would be played by Tom Hanks. That's what they would do. That is
like that Cloud Atlas movie?
Yes, but and Polar Express, and that kind of shit. They would. That's exactly what they would do with this. Oprah would be in it somehow, yeah. But anyway, I do think, even though we're not casting the dude in the house.
Oh, I was gonna.
I'm saying I do think the terrible old man and him should be played by the same character.
That's interesting.
With different looks. You know what I mean?
That's
one being the Blackbeard, younger version, more vibrant, more friendly, whereas the terrible old man, I just think it would work in this instance. And I mean,
that's actually kind of interesting. Like, there's a lineage, like the terrible old man. There's terrible old men, and like maybe that's they stay up there until they can't handle it anymore.
And they come down, maybe, yeah.
And they're just pissed because they're just like, oh, yeah, fucking talk to Nodens and his fucking
or like I don't get to go to that like drug, ecstasy. Some people have their fill. You stay up there long, it's like you need more and more of it to be satiated. Right. But I got for both those characters, Ray Stevenson.
Okay, that's interesting.
I think he played both the friendly, younger.
Now he's in the Dreamland, so
exactly.
That's kind of interesting. I don't hate that.
And I could see him like just a big cloak and just a lumbering presence, like playing an older version of of himself.
Right.
So
so I'll go from the bottom. So my terrible old man, I don't know the actor's name, but it's the guy who plays Felch in the Harry Potter movies.
Felch, the guy with the cat. Yeah.
Like very cranky.
Yes, he was also in. He played Old Basil in The World's End.
Yes.
I told you not to ask me that.
Yeah. And if not him, I would go with Richard Harris. The original Dumbledore.
Okay, yeah.
Also English Bob and Unforgiven.
Okay, yes.
That guy could probably pull off some, also in the Dreamlands, but for many years at this point.
Yeah, he was also the Caesar in
yes,
Gladiator.
He was Marcus Aurelius, and he's also in Count of Monte Cristo. He plays the priest that trains. Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. And a slew of movies. I mean, Richard Harris is a legend.
Yeah, he was 1 million years old. So
he
got it in.
1 million. So he really is the terrible old man.
Yes.
So for the bearded man, since I had a different guy, I went with Ian McShane.
Okay.
Swearingen from Deadwood, but also in the John Wick movies.
Yes.
I feel like he has that voice for storytelling.
Yeah.
And kind of like those hypnotic eyes, and you throw a beard on him. I think he'd be, him telling us about, Atlantis and these war with these creatures. I'm into it.
He's also stepdad from Hot Rod.
Right.
Just he gets hit with the ultimate punch. But no, yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I was also thinking that could be a Clooney thing. I was like, that could be a Clooney thing. I don't know. I don't know why I see that.
I don't know. That's the second Clooney.
Well, that's what I meant. That's what I was talking about back there.
Oh,
but no,
okay, gotcha.
I would cast them the same. I just had that in my head when I was reading it. I was like, oh, this is like almost like weird Clooney, like, oh brother, where art thou? But like, because like the slinky thing kind of that he does. You know, I don't know. But anyway,
Right.
that was
No, I gotcha.
But then, so for Alney, dude, Justin Long.
Okay. He doesn't get killed, though.
Yeah, but still, he's played a lot of roles where he doesn't get killed.
I guess. Interesting pull.
Think of his more whimsical roles.
Like Barbarian?
No, which he reprises his role in Weapons.
Oh, is that connected?
Not really, but kind of.
Oh, I had no idea. I didn't watch it yet.
Director. I really liked Weapons, to be honest.
I gotta watch it.
I really did like it.
I gotta watch it. It's on the list.
It's up on Plex. But what's it called? Yeah, I'm thinking more of like, you know, him now aged, you know, but he's played some roles like in shows that I've seen, like you probably haven't seen them, but like I just think of
him in Waiting.
Sure. But even that, see, he needs to be fulfilled. He needs to find his penis showing game.
You know what? Okay. You know what? Weird for me, but I get where you're at. So you know what? Not bad. I don't hate it.
Hey, that's just who, you know, I was thinking of someone who'd be able to withstand a climb like that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who could play both content and like satisfied in the end.
Yeah.
Also could be a dick, kind of, and also be stubborn. And also that, you know, he kind of, even if he is older, if he's like, you know, in his 40s, still kind of looks youthful.
Right.
Would have the ability, because I've seen him dodge a ball, and it's impressive.
Yeah. He looks like he could be related to Anthony Kiedis, and for some reason that just makes me like...
Yeah, I'm with you there. I can see that, and I don't like it.
No, me either.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, you know, under the bridge, I don't know.
I hate you.
I'm sorry. Hey, it was either Tom DeLonge or Anthony Kiedis. It's... No?
You know who I'd pick.
Tom
DeLonge.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Art Bell.
Yes.
Wouldn't we all?
Yes.
So for my casting for Olney, I have two. So they're similar but different. So my first choice would be Paul Bettany.
Okay.
A la Master and Commander.
Yeah.
I kind of has an inquisitive kind of look. I could see him climbing, you know, the mountain, and he could deliver some lines. I mean, the guy's pretty great, and he can be that a little more extroverted version of the character.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I wanted a little more introverted with a little more telling the story in the eyes, I'd go with Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, but he looks like he would fall apart.
You think?
Yeah, he's really frail these days.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking of him in like Peaky Blinders, or like, you know, some of the movies where he was kind of hard, but it had like this like inner turmoil that was always behind his eyes.
I got it.
Yeah,
hitting people with, you know, scare potion, or you know.
Dr. Jonathan Crane, obviously.
Yes.
You never know, buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I like both of those. Those are good. I went off the beaten path. I try to do that sometimes, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I
like the weird pulls, and I like when we get these castings and we blend the two of our picks, and we get an interesting cast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Hollywood should hire us.
I don't want to work for Hollywood. I want to do my own thing.
Right. Good call.
Let's have our own East Coast Hollywood.
Yeah, right. Because they'd be like, "Have you thought about casting Tom Hanks as everyone?"
They're like, "Have you thought about drinking infant's blood?" I'm like, "No, I have not."
No.
No, you misheard me. I didn't say infant's blood. I said, "Do you want to get paid for this?" What? Yeah, adrenochrome.
Yeah. You're like, no.
It's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, so we gotta have to do this thing where you're gonna have to wear a dress on stage. Why?
Yeah, because
because there's this thing it's a ritual, and we don't want you to be humiliated per se, but we want you to be humiliated. It's like,
you can do it nude.
yeah.
You pick.
You can come to the Grove if you do it.
Yeah, right.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
We always end up here.
Which brings me to my...
Right, exactly. So next episode, next story episode, we begin the epic journey that is the Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. And my mission with these episodes is to turn Ken around and be like, you know what? I like that Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. I like the dream stuff. And you know why? Because there's monsters in it, and Ken's going to enjoy it. There's monster battles.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, there's some great looking stuff in here. There's some weird stuff. There's some interesting stuff. There's some returning characters. There's more than a couple of returning characters.
I'm hoping it's more, like I said, Jim Henson style, or more Lord of the Rings than Narnia.
It very much
sense?
It's not
Okay.
Narnia. It is not Narnia.
Okay.
There's high myth, but there's also these weird creatures, and there's peril, and there's I think you're really gonna like it. And folks who've read this already, we're in for a treat, and I really can't wait to get to it.
Me neither, and I'm sorry, guys, if I've been, Mr. Bummer, because, we're in this lull of, like, these stories that, like, just don't, you see how excited I get on certain ones, and this is what it's doing to me right now, and I'm hoping to turn the page with this next one.
You definitely will. There's some really fun stuff, and then after that is we have Case of Charles Dexter Ward, and then we have like Colorado Space.
Then we take a break and we revisit the Germans.
No, the what?
The Germans.
Right.
Yeah, we revisit them for a bit.
Right.
I can recharge.
Yeah, exactly. No, we there is definitely going to be some back and forth, and then we get to this road of like 5 or 6 pure, just like all-time bangers, and we're in the pipeline for those, and that's going to be some great stuff. But I think we're in it now. I think now we're headed into this. Get this primer, and we're kind of good to go.
Sweet. And I don't know if Jay has noticed, since we've been doing this leg of it, have you noticed now, like, the lighting in the room I'm recording in has become like a pale green?
Yeah.
It's just naturally happened. I haven't done that. It's just like, as I go, it's just, I don't know how it's done this, but it's just, Lovecraft is seeping into the room here. And
there's no other explanation.
Yes. So that's, I just
you're broadcasting from this, sunken, seaweed ridden temple.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild, and it just naturally happens. So there you go, folks.
It's amazing. So before we wrap up, this episode was this month's free episode, so we got to shout out our amazing patrons.
Oh my God, we love you. Oh, man.
First up, as always, our 2. Hey, folks, we'd like to have 3 or 4 of you guys, but we have 2 right now. We love them. Alan and Jim, our 2 Mythos Masters.
Alan and Jim, love you.
You guys are awesome. Don't tell them about what we did last weekend. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Can't talk about it.
Yeah.
But also we want to shout out to Denise, Michael, Danny, Gabe, Mark, Chad, Steve, Arthur, Looney, Frosty, Nathan, Wayne, Michael, Pim, Lewis, Aaron, Ethan, John, and another Michael.
All right.
Guys, folks, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you.
Tomb Legions.
The Tomb Legions. I guess that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, the Tomb Legions. All right. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I love you. I love you guys. You can come stay at my place anytime.
Hey, you need to crash on a couch? Just give us, hit us up. Shoot us an email.
A cot for the baby's room. Come on over.
Yeah, 3 hots and a cot. Come on over.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
Yeah, hope you like hot dogs.
It's the best.
Yes.
Okay. So once again, we find ourselves lingering on the edge of the abyss that Lovecraft so masterfully presents. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Learning Lovecraft. I've been Jason McKittrick.
And I've been Ken James.
And we'll see you beyond the Wall of Sleep.